The Los Angeles International Airport is a modern mess of parking garages, shuttles, and endlessly branching terminals. But at the center of it all stands a monument to a very different idea. A spaceship-like structure that was meant to do more than just look futuristic. It was supposed to be the beating heart of the entire airport. So what happens when the core of a grand plan is built, but everything around it disappears? Stay tuned to find out, as today we uncover the story of LAX's theme building, the ghost of the hub that never was. I'm your host Ryan Socash, and you're watching It's History. Picture this. You arrive at LAX, but instead of wandering through separate terminals, you enter a single, unified building. Everything you need is there. Tickets, baggage claim, customs, restaurants, even an observation deck. From that central hub, sleek walkways or automated trams would carry you directionally to your gate. Well, that was the original plan, but it never happened. By the mid-20th century, LA was booming. It wasn't just a city, it was a promise. Sunshine, cars, palm trees, and now, air travel. Aviation had exploded in the post-war years, and with it came a new kind of ambition. Cities weren't just expanding outward, they were lifting off. Los Angeles needed an airport that could keep up with this. The old mines field had been patched and repaved through the 1940s, but by the early 50s, it was clear that something far bigger was needed. Hence, in 1956, the city launched the Los Angeles Jet Age Terminal Construction Project, a $50 million initiative to turn LAX into a global aviation hub. But this wasn't just about adding runways. It was about rethinking the entire airport experience from the ground up. Architects William Pereira and Charles Luckman were brought on to help shape this vision. Both were already local legends. Pereira had designed the master plan for the 1939 World's Fair in New York, while Luckman had left a top post at Lever Brothers to become one of the West's most influential architects. Together, they imagined a circular airport with a bold central feature, a single, unified terminal under a massive dome. The dome would process every passenger, every bag, every ticket, and so on. Roads would flow around it, whereas the planes would dock at satellite terminals beyond it. It was clean, modern, and efficient, a hub in the truest sense. And the centerpiece of that hub? A structure that would symbolize everything LA wanted the future to be. But big plans demand big coordination, and not everything in LA worked as smoothly as the architects had hoped. And that's not unique to this story. In fact, sometimes even the most ambitious systems fall apart simply because the pieces aren't connected. Did you know that 90% of businesses fail due to poor organization? Like trying to put together a puzzle without seeing the full picture? Customers, invoices, inventory, sales, and so on. When everything is disconnected, running a business can quickly turn into chaos. That's where Odoo comes in. It's an all-in-one business management software that connects every part of your business in one place. No more jumping between platforms. Odoo keeps everything integrated so you can focus on what really matters. With Odoo, managing your business is effortless. The CRM lets you track and organize customers with a simple drag and drop. Invoices generate automatically and inventory updates in real time. The sales system lets you create quotes and close deals in just a few clicks. Need a website? You can build one in minutes with their website builder, no coding required. Odoo is intuitive and works for any type of business. Plus, you can try it risk-free. Your first app is free forever, and you get a 14-day free trial, no credit card required. If you want to streamline your business and work more efficiently, stop wasting time with disconnected tools. Try Odoo today. Click the link in the description to explore all of its features. Thank you, Odoo, for supporting the channel, and now, back to our story. The original plan for LAX centered around a single dome. That dome would serve as the airport's main terminal. But here's the thing, the airlines didn't agree. They wanted autonomy, separate terminals with their own branding and operations. At the same time, the projected cost of the dome just kept rising. So in the late 1950s, the city scrapped the hub model and pivoted to the decentralized layout LAX still uses today. But one part of the original vision survived. The central structure. Rather than just abandon it, the architects reimagined it. The building at the center of LAX would no longer be a terminal, it would be a symbol. The theme building became a standalone restaurant and observation deck, a visual anchor for the airport loop. It had no gates, no ticket counters, no transit connections, and so on, but it had a presence. 4 parabolic steel arches lifted a circular platform 70 feet above the plaza. Inside was a full-service restaurant with panoramic windows, and above that, an observation deck open to the public. It was never abandoned, and from the day it opened in 1961, it functioned exactly as intended, as a public space, a destination for diners, visitors, and plane watchers. The airport's functional heart had been relocated, but the visual centerpiece remained. With no connection to the terminals, the theme building wasn't part of the airport's transit system. It was just an experience, and that experience began with its name. It was called the theme building because it embodied the visual and architectural theme of the Jet Age Airport project, with sleek lines, space-aged curves, and a flying saucer at its core. Now, the lower level served as an entry point to visitors who would ride one of the 3 passenger elevators housed inside the central concrete core, a vertical shaft 85 feet tall and 30 feet wide. These elevators led directly to the restaurant floor and 1 level above that to the observation deck, suspended between the arches. Now, above those passenger areas and hidden from view was something that no visitor ever saw, a 600-ton tune mass damper installed in 2010 to absorb seismic shock. The damper is one of the largest in any U.S. building, and it's important as it protects the entire structure in the event of an earthquake. Beneath the theme building, roads loop in tight circles, and the structure doesn't connect with the terminal via tunnel or walkway. Rather, it stands isolated within LAX's central horseshoe. But what's beneath the building? Well, there's no public underground complex. The building rests on a mat foundation and steel pile system, with any sublevels likely housing maintenance or mechanical access points below the plaza, though these areas are off limits to visitors. Though the plaza itself does include a small courtyard, commemorative plaques, and 9/11 memorial called Recovering Equilibrium. So the action has always been above ground. By the 1960s, the observation deck drew steady crowds, while the restaurant became a rotating cast of fine dining and jet age nostalgia. Over the years, it attracted celebrities, public figures, and curious travelers alike. Walt Disney, Ronald Reagan, and Lucille Ball all reportedly visited here, though the glory days would ultimately pass, and by 1997, the theme building was in need of a transformation. Hence, Disney reimagined the space and transformed it into the Encounter restaurant, with glowing lighting, curved booths, and retro futuristic interiors. For a while, it was the most recognizable airport restaurant in America. The building also lived a second life in pop culture, as postcards, TV shows, and gallery exhibitions featured its iconic shape. For example, artist Deborah Ashheim recreated it in glowing LED sculptures, whereas photographer Julia Schulman's portrait of Paul Williams helped enshrine its myth. In 1992, it was designated a historic cultural monument. And today, though the restaurant is closed and the observation deck rarely opens, the building still stands, maintained, preserved, and suspended in time. Hence, it's amazing to consider that the theme building, against all odds, was never abandoned. It was used and it was loved, despite the fact that it was cut off from its original purpose. That's what makes this story so compelling. The theme building at LAX never became a ruin. Rather, it became a symbol. We'll leave it there for today, but I thank you all for watching. Otherwise, until next time, this is Ryan Sokash, signing off.